So I'm at Ransom's Dock in London with David Lloyd of Eldridge Estate, get my words out, in the Mornington Peninsula in Victoria. So fabulous for Pinot Noir, fabulous for Chardonnay, and in fact, David, we've just been tasting with you wines from the 2007, 2008 and 2009 vintage, which you summarised, I think, absolutely bang on the money. 2007 very structured, 2008 fruity, 2009 somewhere in the middle, fabulous, fabulous, I thought. But tell me about 2011 vintage.
2011 vintage provided nature with an opportunity to see what they could throw at us. And we had lots of rain, lots of humid weather, and essentially it meant you had to be the most vigilant I've ever been in the vineyard in terms of cutting off anything and getting that might be diseased, having your shoot thinning really right on the money, and leaf plucking was really, really important so that you had the airflow there. And because it was relatively cool, the fruit has turned out to be almost like 2008, but probably sweeter, and the colour's lighter than 2008. And the wines are already, now that they're through the malolactic, like the week I left Melbourne, very appealing, which is probably fairly good, that people will find when we release these in 18 months' time, that rather than having to sell them for 5 or so years to get their perfect time zone, that they'll be in the short term rather than the long term.
Quite upfront and approachable.
Beautiful
and aromatic, I bet?
Oh, lovely aromatics, lovely cherry flavours coming through. Hint of framboise. I'm quite surprised.
And what about the yields for that year then? I mean,
well, our yield is bang on normal. A lot of people with Chardonnay around the state have actually got about a quarter to a fifth of what they'd get normally, because the timing of the rain was such that lots of fruit didn't set properly. And so the production of Chardonnay be quite limited in those parts of Victoria. Our Chardonnay and Pinot crop are essentially the normal yield. So we've got a normal yield of something that's going to be approachable earlier. I think the standout wine of the vintage probably is going to be the Chardonnay. That is an absolute ripper of a Chardonnay. Beautiful, elegant flavours along the citrus style, with higher acid. Our Chardonnay in the barrel hasn't finished its malo. Well, some of the barrels haven't started yet. But I'm guessing that the flavours there at the moment are lovely, and I think we'll end up with something kind of special that will probably need to be kept longer than normal. Yeah, because certainly I was talking with Steve Flamsteed from Innocent Bystander and Journalist, and he was very excited about Chardonnay. And then over in South Australia in Adelaide Hills, and talking with Michael Hill-Smith, and they were really, struck with botrytis for the Chardonnay, so they will get a little bit of the top line M3, but not a lot. But tell me, because we were just talking now in the presentation that you were giving about Mornington Peninsula and those 3 winds, and would that have helped, do you think, in Mornington Peninsula, especially you're quite elevated in Red Hill, with disease pressure, sort of the wind keeping that down? Provided you have the leaf plucking, so if you have a bunch of fruit, you've got a leaf over it. If you've got too many leaves, it's too protected. You've got to get that leaf plucking right. So we had pretty vigilant leaf plucking. And in fact, I decided it was beyond me at the time frame I thought we had to do the leaf plucking, and I got a team of 10 contractors to come in and spend a day and a half plucking all around the bunches, very, very heavily. And let's just scroll back just 1 year to 2010, which we haven't been tasting today, but I know there was a lot of excitement in Victoria in general about the 2010 vintage for Pinot Noir. So you were saying 2011 cracked vintage for Chardonnay in particular, 2010 a cracked vintage for the Pinot? Absolutely.
That's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
I gave you that on a plate.
Thank you very much. Our 2010 Pinot is in stainless steel tank now. It went into the tank from the barrels 5 weeks ago, or 5.5, and will be bottled in 2 weeks' time. And hopefully nothing's gone wrong whilst I've been away. I've had a friend drop in every few days to check that we have variable capacity tanks, and if the seal goes, maybe a little bit of air can get in, but he's been checking it every few days for me.
Yeah, well, if you will gad about the Pfalz and
well,
Alsace and
all in the search for
Paris and
fine Pinot.
Yeah, great stuff. Well, listen, David, thank you very much, and I look forward to tasting 2010, 2011 down the track.
Well,
thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.